have to.
Yeah, you're probably going to want me to because this is going to be tough.
Yeah,
Probably.
probably. You're true.
Alright, so we are going to be solving systems of equations with matrices today, which is the plural for matrix.
Is it?
Yeah. Matrix is singular, matrices are plural. So
I thought it said matrices.
So, a matrix are these big bracket things right here. This is a matrix because they're in the brackets. And then on the inside, there's usually just numbers. So, in this matrix, it has 3 columns and 2 rows. So, this is a 2 by 3 matrix. So, when you look at matrices, or a matrix, and it talks about the size of a matrix, it always goes row by column. So, when we're looking at a matrix, and we're saying, oh, how big is this? We always go row by column. So, in this one, this is a 2 by 3 matrix, row by column. And we can look at different elements of this matrix. An element is just one of these numbers in here. That's all an element is, just one of the numbers. So if I want to know what is element A23, the first number is your row, the second number is the column. So I want to know what is in row 2, column 3. And you're just looking on here and figuring out what's in the second row and the third column. So row 1, row 2, column 1, column 2, column 3. So row 2 means it's going to be down here. And then column 1, 2, 3, that's the number 3. So what element is in A23? It's the number 3. An element is just one of these numbers. On the second one, what is the element of 1, 1? Row 1, column 1, number 2. The last one, the element in 1, 2, row 1, column 2, 4. Nice try.
Damn.
I told you it's going to start off easy. Next one, not so much. Well, next one's actually easy. One after that, you'll tell it. Okay. So, that's how we can look at individual elements. We're not going to do a lot with individual elements, but just so you know. Okay. So, what we are going to be doing a lot of today is making a matrix. And what we're going to use matrices for are solving systems of equations. So, I have 2x plus y equals 9, x minus 6y equals negative 1. I'm going to set this up as a matrix. So, basically, all we do for a matrix is we're going to take the numbers in front of the x and in front of the y and this number on the end, and basically we're just going to put it straight in a matrix. So, my first row is just going to be this top line right there. So, what number is in front of the x?
2.
In front of 2. How about in front of the y?
1.
And then that number on the end is 9. My top row is 2, 1, 9. My bottom row, what number is in front of this x right here?
1.
How about in front of the y?
Negative 6.
Negative 6. Way to remember the negative.
Negative 1.
And then we have a negative 1 at the end. That's all this matrix is. 2, 1, 9, 1, negative 6, negative 1. We're not going to really use these yet. We're just going to practice making it. So let's look at this bottom one right here. Same type of thing with a matrix. I'm just going to put my numbers in front, write it down. So I'm going to have 4, and then 2, and then 9. My next row is going to be negative 4, and then 3, and then 16. And when we do matrices, or when we make a matrix, we always need these brackets kind of around everything. That's how we know it's a matrix and not just a bunch of random numbers. Okay, first day in class problem, on your own, I want you to make this into a matrix right there, and then we'll have some people help us out with it. Make that matrix, and then we'll keep going in a minute.
Oh my god!
You okay there, Austin?
Yeah.
What you doing?
The red pepper Taylor is seen on each side. That's like the figs that kept the red cherries.
I want to know.
Don't look at it.
All right,
No!
Austin, help us out. What's the top row of my matrix going to look like?
What are we doing?
Right
Oh,
here.
it's 237.
Here you go.
Yeah,
2,
let's see.
3, 7. Dazen, what's my second row going to look like?
Negative 251.
Negative 251. And then we have to actually put the little matrix things around it. All right.
Get that off there.
One off where?
That.
This plank was made
Two,
with
okay.
men's drive.
All right.
Seldom
Ow.
So, we are going to also make a matrix out of this one up here. So this is where matrices get to be really convenient. Because how many variables are in this systems of equations?
6,
4,
8, 25,
6,
1,
Sees the crew.
8.
Stop saying random numbers.
Bones like
Seven.
that.
There are 3 variables. There's an X, there's a Y, and there's a Z. Have we talked about solving when I have an X, Y, and Z yet?
No.
We're
Austin
going to
did.
today.
What about the Z?
Hey, Austin. That's going to fit.
This isn't
Okay.
three-dimensional. though.
So, we are going to make this matrix, and then we'll solve for it eventually, I think. But, when I do these, when I go through and I make these matrices, I want to actually make sure everything is lined up. So I have X, Y, Z number, right?
So those are 3.
I have X. Do I have a Y right here?
No.
No. So whenever I do a matrix or a matrix, I need to make sure to actually make sure I don't actually skip anything. So I'm going to have an X, and then I'm going to have plus 0Y, because there are no Y's, and then plus 3Z, and it's going to equal 12. Because when I make this row, I'm going to go 1, 0, 3, 12. So you can't, you always need to keep, you can't skip a space or an element in a matrix. So I have to fill it in with a 0. And then let's look at this third row here. I have a Y, which is going to be in my second spot, right? But I have this 5x over here. I need to put that 5x on this side. How would I do that? I'm going to add 5x on both sides.
Oh.
So I'm going to add 5x to both sides. And I'm going to get a 5x. And then I have a Y, so plus Y. Do I have any Z's in this one?
0 Z.
No. So I'm going to go plus 0Z, and it's going to equal positive 1. So when I make this matrix now, it's going to be a little bit bigger. Because I'm going to have 3 rows. Row 1, row 2, row 3. So for my first one, for my first row, 1, negative 3, 1, 6. My second row, I'm going to use the one where I added my 0y in there. I'm going to have 1, 0, 3, 12. And for my third row, I'm going to use the one where I added my 0y, or excuse me, 0z. I'm going to have 5, 1, 0, 0, 5, 1, 0. Okay. Everybody good with this so far?
Yes.
Alright, well, now's when it gets tough. So make sure you pay attention.
We're working with encryptions.
So, what we're going to be doing is we are going to take a matrix that looks kind of like this, and we're going to manipulate it until we get a solution. The reason matrices are nice is because I can solve when I have x, y, and z. So substitution and elimination, I always needed just an x and a y, or just like an a and a b or something like that. Only 2 variables. For matrices, I think you can actually, it doesn't really matter how many you have in here, but after 3 it gets to be like take forever. So we're only going to do 3.
Oh, wow.
Alright. So, we can manipulate matrices by doing things. And we're going to manipulate them to solve systems of equations. And there's actually, I forgot one in here, there are 3 things we can do to solve for these, but I don't usually do the third one because it doesn't happen. So, if I'm going to take a matrix, I can manipulate it by multiplying or dividing a row by a constant. So for example, if I have this matrix right here, I can multiply my bottom row by the same number. So I can multiply each thing by 2. Times 2, times 2, times 2. And I get 4, negative 26.
Where does the 2 come from?
It's just a random one they pick. Yeah. So we're actually going to be picking, when we do these, we're going to be picking this number right here that we multiply by.
It's not too bad.
So that's one thing I can do. I can also add a row to another row. So, for example, if I have this matrix C right here, I can add the bottom row to the top row. So I can add it up, and only my top row will change. So I can go 3 plus 4 is 7. 2 plus negative 2 is 0. 5 plus 6 is 11. So I took the bottom row and I added it to the top row. That's fine, we can do that. And only the top row changes. Or I can also do both at the same time, which is what we're going to do the most. And then there's one thing I forgot. You can also swap rows.
Why?
You'll see. We can also swap rows. I actually don't usually I don't swap rows very much, but I probably should because it would save me time. But it doesn't. It's not as important as
So it
these
doesn't save
two,
you time?
as multiplying and then adding rows together.
So why not just do this one way? Why do we have to know all of them?
Why don't what?
Why don't we just learn one way instead of all?
Because you need all of these things to solve this. Yeah.
It's retarded.
So this is where it's going to get kind of tough.
I can see why it's so long.
Okay. And I'm going to try to write small, but I'm probably going to run out of room. This is why I had you guys get extra pieces of paper, because to give you an example, this is actually your exit ticket problem. This is how much space your exit ticket took. The little paper and basically a whole bottom paper here. That's big thing. So it's not super tough.
This isn't that bad.
It's going to take a little bit of time. So when I solve for matrices, my goal is I want to manipulate my matrix, and I want to get one of these two things. It depends on how big my matrix is. So if I have a 2 by 3 matrix, so there's only 2 rows, I want to get 1, 0, and then some number on the top row. I want to get 0, 1, and then some number on the bottom row. Or if I have 3 things, I want 1, 0, 0, some number, 0, 1, 0, some number, 0, 0, 1, some number. Because when I get this, what it means is whatever my first variable was is going to equal that. Whatever my second variable was is going to equal that. So we are going to manipulate this systems of equations up here. X plus 4y equals negative 1. 2x plus 5y equals 4. We're going to manipulate it until we get, I want to get 1, 0, and then some number, 0, 1, and then some number. So keep that in mind. This is our goal. This is what we want. So I don't really care about the numbers in the very end. I just want 1, 0, and then 0, 1. So to start with, we're going to have to make a matrix. I'm going to have 1, 4, negative 1, and I'm going to have 2, 5, and 4. Alright. So let's look at this matrix. My first number is the number 1. That number's fine, right? Because I want 1 at the very beginning. Let's look at this number 2 right here. I want to change this 2 into a 0. I want to make this 2 into a 0. And I'm going to do it by doing a combination of the things we just talked about. I want to add my top row to the bottom row, because I can add those just fine. I want to add the top to the bottom, so I want to add these together. But if I add these together, if I do 1 plus 2, will that equal 0? No. What number would need to be up here that I could add 2 to it to make 0? Negative 2, right? I need to make this into a negative 2. What can I multiply by to make that 1 a negative 2? Negative 2, right? So I'm going to go times negative 2. And I'm going to times negative 2 on everything on top. And when I do this, even though I'm doing it right now, the top row isn't going to change yet, because I'm just doing it to make this 2 a 0. So I'm going to multiply my top row by negative 1, or excuse me, by negative 2, and then I'm going to add it to the bottom row, and only the bottom row is going to change because I'm working on this thing right here. I'm working on making that 2 a 0. So I multiply by negative 2, negative 2, negative 8, positive 2, and I'm going to add it to 2, 5, and 4. Okay? Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3. 2 plus 4 is 6. Now, this that I just added up to get, this is my new row 2. So this right here is going to go into my row 2. That's going to go into my row 2. So row 1 hasn't changed because I'm just working on that. So I have 1, 4, negative 1. my new row 2 is 0, negative 3, 6.
Hate this stuff.
Yeah.
It's all wrong for me.
Yeah.
Oh, what do we know?
All right. What? I hope you're paying attention, because if not, you're in trouble.
I'm fine.
Oh my,
Well, there's notes online.
That I'm recording. Yeah. Hope you're paying attention. Know how to do that. Okay. So let's go through. I have a 1 here, that's good. I have a 0 here, that's good. What? How about let's look at this negative 3. What do I want that negative 3 to be? What number?
1, 0,
What is
0.
lines on the outside? Let's be 1.
This one right here?
1.
Remember, this is what I want it to look like. We want it to be a 1. So let me just get some extra space here. Okay. I want it to be the number 1. Now, I have a 0 in front. So, do I want to add straight down?
No.
Because if I add down, that changes to a 1 or something like it. I don't want that. But, I can just multiply or divide by just a single number. What could I divide negative 3 by to get positive 1? Negative 3. Or I can multiply by negative 1 over 3, but that's pain. So let's divide by negative 3. And when I divide by negative 3, I can divide everything by negative 3. I need to divide everything by negative 3. And after I do it, it's going to replace my entire bottom row. So my top row, it's going to stay 1, 4, negative 1. My bottom row is now going to be 0, negative 3 divided by negative 3 is a positive 1. 6 divided by negative 3 is a negative 2. Alright, it's starting to look pretty good. Remember, this is my goal. 1, 0, number, 0, 1, some number. What's the only other number I need to change now? I need to change 4. And I want to make this 4 into a 0. Get it in the color. Alright, I want to make this 4 into a 0. So, can I multiply by anything to get 0 other than 0?
No.
Yes.
No. So, what I'm going to need is I'm going to need to add my bottom row straight up. But, if I add my bottom row straight up right now, do I get 0?
No.
What do I need to change this number right here, this 1 to be, to make it a 0 when I add?
Negative 4.
Negative 4, right? So, what do I need to multiply by to get negative 4?
Negative 4.
Negative 4.
Negative 4. So I'm going to multiply by negative 4.
Okay, divide by negative 4. Or 4 on top.
What's 1 divided by 4? 0.25, right? That's changed the number that I want to keep as a 1. So we could divide by like 4 up top, and that might get us kind of closer, but I always want this first number to be a 1 and then 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of combine. I'm going to multiply by negative 4 on the bottom and then add it to the top.
Oh, you saying multiply? I thought you said divide.
No, that was awesome. Awesome saying that. Okay. So my top row, 1, 4, negative 1. My bottom row, I'm multiplying by negative 4 and then adding. So 0, negative 4, and then positive 8. And then we are going to add it straight down. So 1, 0, negative 4 plus negative, 4 plus negative 4 is 0. And then negative 1 plus 8 is 7. This is my new top row. So I'm going to have 1, 0, 7, 0, 1, negative 2. Remember, the bottom row didn't change. We just used it to help change our top row.
What? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Alright. So, this is now, we're actually almost done. We just need to write our answer. So, I have 1, 0, and then the number 7. That number 7 is fine. I have 0, 1, and then negative 2. Negative 2 is fine. I just need to write my final answer. So, when I did these, what was my first column? Were they X's or Y's? They're X's, right? So, when I have 1X, it's going to equal 7. What was my second row? Excuse me, second column. What was my second column here? X's or Y's?
Why?
When I have 1Y, it equals negative 2.
What's that?
Those are my, that is my solution. X equals 7, Y equals negative 2.
Wait, what about the or? That kind of scared me up there.
What?
Top right. Or.
Oh, that's when we have like a Z.
Oh.
That's what we're going to use when we have Z. So we're going to get there. Don't you worry.
Oh.
Don't you worry, Austin. I know how excited you are for this. Okay, kind of a long process, but the steps, after you do these a little bit, you the steps are kind of all similar. So we're going to practice some more of these. This is all we're working on today. We're probably going to take 1 or 2 days for this. So if you're not sure off the top, or if you're not sure right now, that's fine. So let's go to this one. Let's go to this top one right here. What is the solution of 9x minus 2 equals 5 and 3x plus 7y equals 17? And I'm actually going to just, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to do it on a new slide because I got space on a new slide. So hang
You
on.
got enough room right there.
Not me.
Yes, you do.
Is there page, blank page?
What'd you
It's
do?
gone.
Alright,
You broke it.
it's fine.
Broke it.
Okay, so just like before, we're going to find the solution to this system
What's the plural
of
word?
equations by making a matrix. So,
Plural I. Plural I.
what?
Four I words.
Plural word for plural.
Plurals.
Plural
Go Latin on it. It's English, not Latin. Alright, so on this I have 2 rows. So what I am looking for, I have 2 rows. So what I want to get on this one is 1, 0, and then some number A, and then 0, 1, and some number B. This is what I want.
Look at your bracket.
My bracket. It's fine.
Your
Okay, so let's make our matrix. I'm gonna have 9, -2,
That can't
5,
be just randomly.
3, 7, 17.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to be emancipated.
Why?
I've been
Living in your parents' basement is so
I
nice.
know what emancipation is.
What is it? Oh my
I
god.
know what it is, but yeah.
When you
When you're
become your own
emancipated.
man.
And like you're
It
free.
means you live on your own. You're your own.
You're looking at going
Yeah.
like underage. You do everything like on your own.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't
what it
live
means. Okay,
The
so
freeing
let's
of
go
someone
through.
from
Let's go through this one. So we are gonna look at these ones. Let's look at my top one up here. Let's look at that top number 9. What do I want that number 9 to be?
1.
1, right?
Wait, where do those numbers come from?
What?
Is that what we always wanted to be? Is 1001?
1, 0, some number, 0, 1, some number. Yes.
I don't care about
This
that.
when they're this size, this is what I want
I
always.
don't care what the sum number is.
Yeah. So 1, 0, and then 0, 1. That's what I want always. So let's see. I can make that 9 into a 1 pretty easy, right? What can I do to make that 9 into a 1?
Divided by 9.
Yeah.
Name
What?
Oh,
It's
2
not.
1.
Yeah,
Add negative
we could. But that. How about we just divide it by 9?
that. That's what I'm saying.
So remember, we can add rows to each other, or we can multiply or divide by numbers. Let's just divide by a 9. Let's just divide by 9. And remember, I have to divide everything by 9, so I'm going to get some decimals. This one's not going to be a fun one.
Do this.
Okay, so when I divide by 9, I get 1. Let me plug this into a
I'm gonna
calculator.
make it fit, trust me. I'm gonna make it.
And I'm going to get, you know what, let's leave it as a fraction. 2 over 9,
It's gonna get in there. dude.
5 over 9,
Just 25 seconds.
3, 7, 17.
Yeah, but are you okay? Someone tells me you're not right. Wait, why is it 2 9s?
Because we're dividing by 9.
Why not decimal?
Because we get 0.2 repeating. That's kind of a pain. It's a real pain, man. Real pain.
I feel like it,
You're a real pain, man.
A little.
And these
I think it's
problems
better
are
than
big
trying
pain.
to work with a fraction. Even though fractions is decimal.
Yeah, you could do it that way, I guess.
I feel like it'd
I
be.
guess. Okay. Let's keep going through and let's have, oh, where am I at?
Pick me.
What do I want this number to be right here?
22.
0.
Okay. Can I multiply or divide by anything to get 0?
Negative 2.
0.
Negative.
Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is negative 1. So, no, we're going to have to add or subtract, right?
Oh, yeah.
Subtract.
Which means
Three.
we are going to have to add,
Oh.
like, the top one to the bottom one. But if I add right now, do I get 0?
No.
Okay. What do I need to make this number to be?
0.
Negative. Or no.
Negative 3, right?
Oh.
So, how do I make this number a negative 3?
Times 0.
Times by negative 3.
We're going to times by negative 3. So I'm going to multiply by negative 3
On the top or bottom?
on the top one, times negative 3. But because we are changing, we're going to make this into a 0 right here. we are not going to, we're just going to do it temporarily. We're going to multiply and then add. So this row is actually not going to change because I'm just using it to change this number. So I'm going to multiply by -3, and then, let me see, 2 over 9.
No calculators, that's only.
Hey,
Hey, put that calculator
Hey,
away.
I can't go back and forth.
You
You
hypocrite.
can go back and forth. You just choose not to.
Fine.
-3.
That is -0.6, which is -2 over 3. 5 over 9 times -3
22.
is -15 over 9,
22.
which is 5 over 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, -5 over 3.
Cheater.
This motion, boy.
Yep. Okay, and then my bottom row is going to stay like that because I haven't actually added anything. 3, 7, 17. And I'm going to add straight down. -3 plus 3 is 0. -2 over 3 plus 7 is 6.3 repeating. Right?
What about the 22?
Yeah. 6,
Would it be a
so
negative?
6 and a
45
third.
Would it be a
in the right
negative?
corner.
No, because -2 over 3 plus 7.
Oh,
So,
that's it.
6.3
What happened to the 5 that was in the
repeating.
corner?
And then this will be, oh, I can't do that one in my head. That's 1 2/3. 16 minus 2/3 is 15 and 1/3.
and Desmos is nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need no Desmos.
Oh, great. Mighty Desmos. Help this man.
Alright.
Oh, mighty.
And then I'm out of space, so I'm just going to go up here.
15.3.
No, Ken.
So I have, my top row hasn't actually changed. I just use it for my bottom row. 1, 2 over 9, 5 over 9, and then 0, 6.3, 15.3. Man, I should really
Okay.
pick
Give us more
fractions and
space.
decimals.
So wait, why
Hey,
is that?
do it on the separate piece of paper.
No.
Do it on your separate
Oh.
piece of paper.
No, I didn't need to.
Yeah, what?
Why is that negative?
Which one?
Top row addition one.
Could you times my negative 3?
Because I times up by -3. Yeah.
Oh, up there.
Yeah.
Novels.
Ooh.
All right, we're looking pretty good. Let's look at, how about, let's look at this 6.3 right there.
You suck. You're just psychoing to the computer screen.
Hey there, Alyssa. All right, Alyssa, help me out.
Running out of space.
What number do I want to make this 6.3 be?
0, 1.
1, right? How can I make that into a 1?
You know,
Oh,
get it to 1.
sorry, that should be repeated. Yeah, what can I do?
Divide it.
5?
Same number.
Yep, divided by the same number. So I'm going to divide by 6.3 repeating. Divide by 6.3 repeating. Divide by 6.3 repeating. Alright, so since you guys are being lame, let's plug it into Desmos.
0, 1, 0,
guys are giving me garbage.
You're garbage.
Give me grades or garbage? Actually, no, I haven't even graded anything for this class yet in quarters, so I have no idea. Okay, so when I go through and I solve these, let me see, the top's going to stay the same. 1, 2 over 9, 5 over 9, 0. That's going to be a 1 when I divide it. And I just need to figure out what's 15.3 repeating divided by 6.3 repeating. And Desmos is kind of annoying, but we can get it.
Okay, you need to decrypt this message. No, don't.
Alright, so I'm going to go
Let's part of the lesson.
Can Desmos
parentheses
decrypt binary
15 plus 1 divided by 3. So, Desmos is kind of annoying because we can't really do compound fractions like this. It's 15.3 repeating, right? 0.3 is 1 over 3. So if I go 15 plus 1 over 3, that's the same thing as 15.3 repeating. It's annoying, but we can do it. And then we are dividing by, same type of thing, 6 plus 1 divided by 3. Oh man, that's so annoying.
What's the line at?
Uh-oh. Oh.
2.4210.
We making us do.
Just use the
man.
calculator.
Fine.
Oh, I found it.
What?
Oh,
Fine,
jeez.
hang on.
Kind of t-shirt.
Actually, you know what? Let's
Let's just
no,
quit.
I'm not gonna quit. Just because it's difficult.
We did the other day.
You can't use a calculator.
That's because those are bad problems.
No, David and I figured it out.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
You nerds. Just
Oh, 46 over 19. Duh.
kidding. Yeah, but we're supposed to know that. 46 over. What'd you
46
say?
over 19.
That's like
I'm tired of sitting down looking out.
46 over 19.
1, 2 over 9.
I mean, I don't know why you guys can just look at that and get it. I mean, it's super easy to see.
0, 1, 46 over 19.
Alright, that's fine. It's going to be some stupid annoying decimals,
Is that
but
retarded? No, it's
that's fine. Actually, and you know what? Let's make this a little
Hey, we
easier.
gotta get the other zero.
We do. We do have to get the other zero.
What?
Bro.
What is it?
Oh yeah, huh? They
There you
can
go.
see in this.
Not yet. There's the Y though. So let's actually make this a little bit easier. Let's make that 46 over 19. Let's just make it into 2.4. You okay over there, David?
Yeah, I'm good.
Doing sound effects into my speaker. Weird, man. All right, let's make this just a. Let's make this a 2.4. Let's make it easy. So we're gonna have some estimates. They're not gonna be exact. It doesn't
Wrong
matter.
time to do it.
You ain't gonna do this? No.
All right, we're gonna make that a 2.4. Okay, so we still need to change that 2 over 9. So let's go through. Alyssa, what do I want to make that 2 over 9?
7.
Did I? All
0.
right. LMA, what do I want to make that 2 over 9?
Oh, Alyssa.
What do I want to make that 2 over 9 to be? What number should that be?
0. Sorry.
Thank you. Oh, man.
That is the right answer.
Yeah, it's 2.
She said it.
So we want 1 0 some number, 0 1 some number. So we want to make that into a 0. So I want to make this. I want to make that to a 0, which means I need to make this into something to add to get that. So what should I make this 1 be when I add them together?
Over 9.
Negative 2 over 9.
Negative 2 over 9, right?
No.
Oh.
Because when I add them, I'll get 0. So I'm going to have to multiply by negative 2 over 9 times negative.
That's
Okay.
retarded.
It's
Retirement.
tight, yeah.
Alright, so on top, I'm going to go 1, 2 over 9, 5 over 9, 0, negative 2 over 9, and then I'm just going to plug it in real quick.
Wait, what happened to that bottom right number?
I'm figuring out what it is.
Oh.
Oh.
And negative 5.3. Good enough.
You didn't know that? Come on.
Oh, yeah. And we're just going to add them together. So I'm going to get 1, 0, and then 5 over 9 plus negative 5.3. I don't know. We get, negative 4.74.
That's a big number. Negative 4.74. Yes.
There's 3 things there. Alright, that's my new one. This one is off a little bit because we estimated, we rounded, but who cares? It's good enough. Alright, so I got 1, 0, negative 4.74, 0, 1, 2.4. Alright, am I done?
Yes.
No.
Almost.
Dang it.
Yes.
Have I actually said what my answer is?
No.
No.
Hopefully.
What does x equal?
22.
Number.
Negative
Negative
4.74.
4.74.
I'm not wrong.
Y equals 2.4.
Yep, and y equals 2.4. Alright.
It's up.
We're gonna do one more together. We are gonna do this in class tomorrow.
Thank God.
So we might do homework. We'll see.
No.
We'll
There's
see.
no way.
Please,
These
no,
guys,
this is
no.
killing
We'll
me.
see. We're gonna start getting into a tough one though.
You're just sitting there.
We're gonna get into a tough one. Okay.
I,
It's so bad it made
So-
us sit down.
Negative
What are you
4.74.
trying to make next week?
I,
you're just
Hey,
sitting there too, listen.
What'd you say, though?
All right.
You?
Oh, it's right there.
Fight.
Okay. So we are gonna do this next one together. And now is when they start getting actually tough.
God.
See
what do
I
you
did
mean
that right?
actually tough?
I know. It was a
What'd
joke.
you do?
Okay, so we're gonna do this second one, but I'm gonna go on another slide so you guys can grab another piece of paper and flip it over, just so we have space. So this is where they get the toughest. So let me go through and add a new slide here.
Okay, we have plenty of space.
I know.
The whole
Okay.
board.
All right. So first step
I got
Um,
sure.
on this one, I have 3 rows, right? So what I want to get, my goal is to get 1, 0, 0, some number, 0, 1, 0, some number, 0, 0, 1, some number.
Oh, there's 3 this time?
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is why we are learning matrices. This is why we're learning matrices, because I got 3 things. I can't do it with substitution, I can't do that with elimination. So we're going to use matrices. Alright, first step is I got to make my big matrix. 2, 3, negative 1, 1, negative 4, 9, 2, 8, negative 2. There is no b, so I'm going to fill it in with a 0. And then I have a 2, and then a 3. Alright, now this one's going to be fun. Alright, let's start with an easy one. Let's start with an easy one. How about, let's look at this bottom row right here. What should this number right here be?
22.
Azen? Don't help me.
1.
1. That should be the number 1, right? I'm looking at the bottom row. I want that to be a 1. So, what can I do to make that into a 1?
1.
Divided by 2.
Divided by 2. So let's divide the whole bottom row by 2. Alright, so my top row is going to stay 2, 3, negative 1, 1. My second row is going to stay 4, 9, 2, 8. My bottom row, negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. 0 divided by negative 2 is 0. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. Alright, let's keep going through.
There's so many.
Yeah. Yeah. There it is.
He's going to teach us how to encrypt messages.
What does this teach us like to do? Like,
Solving systems of equations?
yeah.
Do you not remember that whole lesson we did before this?
Yeah, you want to find dark
Yeah.
chocolate, milk chocolate, and what?
Oh, damn.
That kind of thing.
Wow.
These are, except we're probably not going to do them all together because they're good now.
Oh, yeah.
So don't you worry. And yeah, this kind of stuff is on the SATs and the Smarter Balance. Alright, so let's keep going through. We can kind of pick and choose what we want to do. So let's go through and you know what? How about this? Let's make it easy. When we add these together, we can add any 2 rows together. So how about this negative 1 right here? What should this negative 1 be?
What?
That should be a 0, right?
What do you say?
Hey, isn't this a positive 1? If I add this and this, don't I get 0?
Yeah.
So I'm going to add row 1 and row 3 together. And I'm not going to actually multiply by anything, I'm just going to add them together.
Stupid.
Retirement.
Okay, so I'm just going to add them together. 2 plus negative 1 is 1. Oh, this was double whammy. 3 plus 0 is 3. Negative 1
Wait, what
plus
is that
1.
little thingy on the outside right there?
I'm just showing which two I'm adding together.
Is that arrow right there?
No, I'm just showing, I'm adding the top and the bottom.
So why did you put pluses on those 2?
Oh yeah, it's an error.
No, it's
It's
not.
gonna make it even worse. Okay, I see it now.
It's an arrow, I swear.
Okay, I see
Arrowhead.
it. That's enough. That's enough.
All
I see it.
Why you mess it up? This one arrow.
What does that say?
So you drew another arrow?
Yeah. Alright, anyway.
What's that pointing to the arrow?
We do that, we're going
Where
to get to
does
what's
this
called
1,
recursion.
3, 0 come from?
Okay, I am adding the top row and the bottom row. Because 1 plus negative 1 is 0. That I want the negative 1 right here to be 0. So I don't have to actually multiply anything together, I'm just going to add them.
Oh.
So 2 plus negative 1 is 1. 3 plus 0 is 3. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. 1 plus 1.5 is 2.5. And then I'm going to have negative 4, 9, 2, and 8. And then
Wait. Oh,
negative 1, 0, 1, and 1.5.
These are some random numbers.
I'm just making this all up as I go.
Yeah, there's no like scenario with it. It's just random numbers.
Yeah, you gotta really pay attention. If you're
Yeah.
not, you're kind of in trouble. Okay, let's keep going. And you know what? When you do these, try to find the easiest ones. Like, for example, what should this number right here be? This negative 1.
0.
Should be a 0, right?
Woo.
Hey, can I add my top row to the bottom row and get a 0?
Yeah.
Because I add this and I get 0. Plus I add right here. That stays a 1. That's what I want. So
Woo.
let's add top and bottom again.
Go
But this
team.
time, I appreciate that, David, but it's still kind of annoying.
It's supposed to be.
So we
So,
add the top and the bottom.
This time we're adding the top to the bottom, and the bottom's going to change. So my top row stays the same. 1, 3, 0, 2.5, -4. Really going to need to work on this middle row here soon. 8. All right, and now I'm going to add the top to the bottom. 1 plus -1 is 0.
Oh, what the? That's what you were doing.
Oh no, wait, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Because what do I get when I do 3 plus 0?
0,
82.
Oh no, that's not good.
Oh, 22.
That's not good at all. Oh no. Oh well, that's just my. And this is
So
what I
we're
did
not
in mine.
doing this.
No, because, well, I could do it, I guess.
Don't.
And make it longer.
I just erased it.
You know, what, we'll do it.
Ah.
Do more work, but that's fine. Who cares? Super fun.
I care.
All right,
Oh,
we're
you're
gonna get
supposed to be
3. We're gonna
lazy.
have to fix this one soon.
Trying to get to my next class.
0 plus 1 is 1.
Oh god, class almost over.
Yeah, that's getting better. And then we get 4.
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, that kind of helped, but it kind of didn't. So we kind of did all that work for
It
nothing.
really did.
Yeah, you did.
Exactly.
You just traded it, now it's useless.
We did. It's pretty stupid.
Why'd you go for that?
All right. Let's keep going through. Well, let me see.
We just roll this in the trash.
Ooh, I know. I got it.
We're
Got
about
it.
to.
All right. What should this number right here be?
22.
A 0, right?
Oh, yeah.
What if I multiplied
Yeah.
bottom row by -1 and added it right there?
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Goki.
It's just
Alright.
a constant endless cycle of dumbness.
All right. 1, 3, 0, 2.5. That's my top row. I'm gonna multiply my bottom row by -1 and add it to the top. So 0, -3, -1,
You get a call from New York.
0, 3.
0, 3, 1, 4.
7719.
Well,
Well,
all right. So I'm gonna get a new top row. 1. Oh no, wait, that didn't help either.
Okay.
Why didn't anybody warn me?
Because you're the nerd in the classroom.
A little. All right, never mind.
they realize they fucked
Yeah, I take it back. I'm making my
Oh
same mistake
my.
all over again.
Goki.
I mean, I was testing you and nobody caught it.
Stop.
I caught it.
Well, you didn't say it loud enough.
We
All right,
wanted to do
what do you want? What do you want to do then, Devin?
Nothing.
What do you want to do?
it. You gotta work from the middle out.
Have to.
It's the best way. Trust me.
All right, what do you want to do, Austin?
I have no idea.
All those about to rain. Go well.
Fellas, lots of time. Fine. You know what? We'll finish this tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nerds.
good riddance.
We might have to start this problem over tomorrow.
Can I write some more?
What?
That's all she did.